wrote for a team, Tom was talking about the Cirque du Soleil and the dirt floors. Did any of you get to think about the dirt floors while you was eating your cream tea, or did they consume you too much?
We did.
Yeah, can you have a good chat about dirt floors?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you like to share any of them?
We just thought we missed the magic from when we were kids in terms of all the animals and all the trickery of it and all the fun of it. And now, obviously, with the PC culture, we don't have any of that any longer.
Within the circus, or
within
your
the
work?
circus.
Or within your work?
I'd just like to clarify in the circus.
I was going to say.
For anyone that knows me, thinks, hold on a second, who does she work for? What's she saying about her organisation? But yeah.
You're really smart.
Not today. Not today. Maybe tomorrow. Not today.
Brilliant. Okay. Anyone else? Share.
We own 13 companies. They all do good things and bad things.
Yeah.
They all spend too much money, not enough money, not the right visas, the right visas. So what we're doing now is centralising it. So they'll come through HQ and we'll own end to end. So when a company comes to us and says they want to move Joe Blogs from London to Shanghai, we will now we'll take on the package and look at the allowances, make a recommendation, and we'll also own end-to-end move as well, which is why we've got involved with time relocation, because we're looking at moving a massive population ranging from the execs right down to quite junior level people. So that's exactly what we're going to use time relocation for.
So you're looking at both ends of the spectrum?
Yeah.
Like everything, are you looking at the same services for everybody?
No. So for the lower end or employee initiated moves, we will use time relocation, and we use the full kind of portal for that, which is great. And the fact that we can dip in and out and monitor and reporting, and the fact that if they need to talk to us, that's great, they can still do that. And then middle management, we will own that. Their packages still aren't as great as the execs that get the spoon feed. Did you want acid-free tissue paper to wrap the Royal Dalton or not? That's that kind of.
So the kind of thing you talk about is, would I be right in kind of saying it's about being flexible?
Yes, but centralised and consistent rather than everybody doing something different.
If at any stage you start thinking he hasn't spelled that right, it's not me. I've got really dodgy pens that don't spell very well. So just in case at any stage you think it's my spelling, I'm very well educated. I am. So just in case. Anything else? Thank you for sharing. That's really interesting. Anyone else? No? Did anyone else kind of? I don't know who I am now. Did anyone else kind of, when Ellen was talking about the things that she was speaking about, did that ring a bell for anyone? You know, like the speed of things.
Hugely.
Yeah.
When you have a large population, which I'm assuming Ellen does, you're always under cost control in a large company, just by the nature of the way the world is today. And as she was talking, it did sort of click to me how most global companies are under these restraints, if not all of them, to an extent or another in various parts, and coupling that with how tax authorities globally seem to be going to town on expatriates and hiking our costs up even more. When we have a cross-section of a population, whilst you will do the football approach for the VIPs, it's hard to justify that cost for essential rotational programs, low-level employees, or indeed employee-initiated moves, of which we have many. And you know, with Gen Y coming up more and more and more and being the flavour of our future populations, they want control over the money. They want to decide. They do not want a policy that dictates to them. They don't want complexity to fit in a process or anything like that. And one of the things that's crossed my mind is also things like short-term business travellers, which just are the flavour of the moment for everybody. How do you manage them? How do you track them? How do you even estimate the kind of cost you're going to get from them? And how do you fit them in the box without spending a fortune on what could potentially be hundreds of thousands of employees a year? If I stuck our supplier cost on top of that, we'd all go bankrupt. So I think you do need to refresh and change, and it's a very interesting tool to support that.
Isn't that
One of the things I find fascinating about that, when we talk about the Y generation, is the sense of what does being really well looked after look like to the Y generation? Because it might not actually be the white glove type approach that the previous generations wanted. Actually, they want to be more in control. They want to be able to go in there at 3 in the morning if they want to and check on something or whatever. So
it's like bank managers as well, isn't it? It's like if you think about how we used to work with our banks years ago, when we was, if you lost your credit card, you'd have to go into the bank to find, to order it again, or if you wanted to do something with your bank, you had to get in and work with your bank manager. Now, if they ask you to go into the bank, you're qualified because everything's done online. So it's those type of things as well, and certain things move quicker, but really, we are used to doing everything online now. So it's not a difficult place to be.
We're equally horrified about waiting for a service provider to come in the office or be out of the office or not be available or whatever, because they have schedules, they have requirements, blah, blah, blah. And I think it will be perhaps something we see so much more in the future, where you just shove a load of money in their direction and do what they need to with it. Get on with it. A lot of these people tend to be young, single, very mobile, and they want to be mobile. It's different when you've got 3 kids and a wife and all the rest of it, but there is a growing need, and the population of families that are willing or able to go on assignment is shrinking, I think.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? I think if you think back to the Cirque du Soleil story about how they removed those dirt floors, if you looked at it in another way, it's kind of about removing those things that really annoy you, those things that really get on your goat, for a better word, but those things where we're trying to look at being able to move something out of the way that we can then start something new, make a new challenge for ourselves. And quite often, there's a choice involved there. And a lot of these things here, we need to have a thought process behind how we would maybe change the way that we look at our costs, maybe to get a more consistent approach, to be more flexible. And I think what we need to do there is we need options, and with options you also need choices. And then once you've got your choices, you can maybe make that decision to change. And change is okay if you've made the right choices along the way. Speaking of myself, I haven't really introduced myself properly, but I'm Grant. I'm from Time Relocation, otherwise I wouldn't be up here, and I'm the new sales director. Now, I made a massive change not that long ago, just over a month ago actually, to come to Time Relocation. Before that, I'd done 8 years in the charity sector, so I was still selling. I come from a sales background, but I made a big choice. I made a change to come to this industry because it excites me. But throughout my life, when I started thinking about it, when I was talking with Tom, I realised that I've made quite a few changes in my life, big changes in career moves. I started off as a footman to the Queen. It's all right, I didn't have to speak to her, so it was fine. But I started off as a footman to the Queen. I've been a chef. I was Young Waiter of the Year, got through to the finals of Young European Wine Waiter of the Year. I then went into sales. I worked in sales. I was then a postman for a little while, had a lovely tan. Always around. I looked like George Hamilton all the time. So I did that, and then I went on and I worked in their management team, training their management structure. And then I went back into sales, and I've sold things from franking machines to toilet roll, no jokes, from pizza concepts, various things throughout my life. But the last thing I was selling was a support for cancer. So that was what I was doing for the last 8 years. And for me to move away from that was a massive choice that I had to make, and it was a big, big change for me. But because of the choices that were there, and because this new proposition that I just think is so exciting was there, I couldn't turn it down. And that says a lot about where Time are at the moment and what we're looking to achieve, because when I've stripped it all back, relocation is about people, and it's about looking after people. And this is what Time want to do, is look after people in the right way. So for me, that was really, really important. So